Hello, I'm Roy Fensom and welcome to Healing Within. This is the 13th episode of Healing Within. And as you can see, we've already started making small changes by changing the intro of the picture of the intro. Now, Healing Within is about you finding ways to heal yourself and heal some of the things that you are going through at the moment. Last week we had suggestions of crystals and chakra healings, and we're looking into how we can bring that to fruition on the show. Good evening, Mary, and welcome. Later on this evening, we should have Roz Boundy on, and she will be talking about hypnotherapy and hypnosis and how that can help you. We want you to continue to use your normal doctors and specialists and chiropractors and all that, but we want you to think about using natural remedies as well, such as reflexology to ease pain, hypnotherapy to get over different sort of ailments or problems that you may have. There's also crystal healings. There is a mass of other things. Hi, Jessie, and welcome. We will be trying to talk to as many people as we can. Roz is on tonight, and I think next week we have Irene Heartwarming, who will be talking about healing by astrology, which I think is a little bit different. So what they're saying is, depending on the month or the portion of the month, depending on what the disease or what the complaint is, the astrology may be able to help you find a cure. It's rather strange, but there's so much new stuff coming out now that I'm willing to listen to anybody and anything. Also this evening, we will be starting off with a little bit of mindful meditation. And we will finish tonight with a heart bowl. I've got a crystal bowl with me tonight, and we'll finish off with working on the aura and the energy around the heart tonight. There's a lot of people that are saying that they're going through a lot of negative emotions at the moment, and some of this is due to recent changes in energy. So we're going to see if we can boost the energy on that later at the end of the show. Right, Jennifer. Well, 26 weeks pregnant, you're going to be going through a lot of emotion and stress as it is. Being an empath, it's probably a little bit difficult at the moment to cut that kind of energy off. But if you can, I would suggest that you try to find a very mindful way of drawing in energy into your body and lowering the heart rate and seeing if you can get at least yourself in a position where, because of what you're going through, you'll be covered by people all around you. And if you don't set up some sort of grounding aspect, white light yourself pretty regularly and have somebody come in that knows either Reiki or crystals and set up a grounding area underneath you if you do go into hospital. Up until then, I would suggest that you find a nice quiet corner and draw yourself away from crowds to lower that energy. Unfortunately, that's about as good as it's going to get, considering that you're 26 weeks along. But it's always good to ask these questions, and if anybody out there is willing to add some more to that, they're more than welcome. Now, I'm going to do a quick mindful meditation. This is pretty easy. You can do it when you're sitting down, you can do it at work, you can do it on the bus, you can do it wherever you are. So please follow along and see how we go. The first part is simply to close your eyes, take a breath, breathe in, And then as you breathe out, notice how the chair or the floor, depending on where you are, whether you're lying or seated, how does that feel against your back? Is it cold? Is it warm? Does it fit the curve? Is there something in the way, a jumper or a shirt, that's causing a crease? If there is, straighten that out now. Feel the buttock area and the thigh area so that you can understand how the seat that you're sitting in or the floor that you're against is pushing against you as you are pushing against it. Now, with a deep breath in, as you breathe out, see the energy from the feet and the calves, let them all relax and drain away any negatives that you may have been carrying and walking. Feel the relaxation come to that area. Take another breath in and think about the thighs and the buttocks. Feel them relaxing so that they feel like jello against the chair or whatever it is that you're sitting on or laying against. Then as you take in the next lovely deep breath to clear, you're hopefully remaining still so that your heart will slow down, because there's no work, there's no reason for your heart to be running fast if you're calming yourself down. As you take in your next deep breath, think about the organs inside the stomach. Think about them relaxing or slowing the processes down and cleansing themselves. And any toxins that you think you may have had in your body, think about seeing that as a blue light pushing all that negative energy and negative aspects out of your body, down through the thighs, down through the calves, and out the feet towards the bottom. When you come up and take another deep breath, think about the outside of the body now, the skin around the stomach and the kidneys, the spleen, the back muscles around the spine. Let them relax and calm down. Take in another breath, bring yourself right up into the heart and the lung area. Feel that area relax. Feel the shoulders drop down as the shoulders and the neck muscles begin to relax, and your arms begin to flop against the edge of the chair. In the last breath, feel that lovely blue light now coming through the top of the head, pushing any emotions such as anger, jealousy, grief, loss. Allow that to run like water and feel it being pushed through the body and out through the thighs, through the calves, into the feet, and out through the soles of the feet into the earth to be restarted as positive energy. Your arms by now should be just relaxing. The hands and the fingers are dangling quite gently off the end of the wrist. Allow any energy that you've got stored up in your arms, tension from work, tension from being pregnant for 26 weeks, any anger that you may have stored in the shoulder blades, allow that to run down the arms, the lower arms, past the wrist, hands, and out the fingers. And then just cover the entire body in a beautiful blue and lavender light. Fill up the body with that light. And then feel your body the way it is now. How does that compare to the way it was when you first started? Do you feel more comfortable in the chair? Do you feel more relaxed? This can take up to 5 minutes at work, and we've taken a little bit over that at the moment, but just feel yourself calming down and the heart slowing and the body relaxing. Take note of how the body feels. Remember that, so that when you start this mindfulness, you'll realize the difference between the two sets of information, and you'll be able to easily know when you're being stressed. Take your time. When you're ready, take a deep breath and bring yourself back into the room calmly and slowly. No need to rush at all. Thank you very much. Well, hopefully everybody's up and tuned in now. Now, let's see what Mary had to say. I've had a very challenging time at work. I've applied for a job recommendation to me, which I wanted to apply for, but because of bullying, didn't. My manager is one that suggested I apply. I got excited and applied. I haven't heard anything, just wondering if I made a fool of myself. You can never make a fool of yourself, Mary, if you're putting yourself out there. People can make a fool of themselves by not taking notice of you. It takes a lot of courage sometimes to follow through on what you've done on the job recommendation, even if your manager tells you to get out there and do it. It's confidence to you to get out and make yourself available and have a go at it. And if the person is bullying, then you have to take notice of that as well. And perhaps it's time to think about taking that to the next step as well. Finding somebody that's willing to listen and tell them what you're going through at the moment, in the hopes that you can remove that bullying and then move into the aspect of applying for that position that you so much wanted. It's difficult, I know, but you seem to be a person of great strength, so I would handle one problem at a time. Tackle the bullying, see if you can get something done about that, and then tackle the position that you're after. Now, if anybody has, oh, thank you, Jennifer. It's lovely to see that. At the moment, I don't do guided CDs. It is one of the things on my list, but at the moment I do sound bath and sound healings of a Thursday evening at St. Clement's Church on Main North Road. Our guest is here at the moment, and I will bring her up into the studio and we can discuss some of the things. If you have questions, please ask them of Ros Boundy, and if you have questions afterwards, please let us know and we can certainly get Ros to reply to them. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring up Ros Boundy. Hello, Ros, how are you?
Hi, Roy, and to the audience out there. I'm fine now that I finally got in the workings of the camera worked out. I just thought I did have eCam on in the background, which wasn't actually affecting it, but I thought it might have been. So I've just done a complete shutdown and revamp. What do you call it? The restart, reboot. Yeah, it seems to have fixed it. So looking like it, yes. I hope so. Anyway, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. I asked you about talking about hypnotherapy, so I hope you're comfortable talking about that.
Oh, yeah, I'm comfortable talking about it. I haven't done any review or anything on it or writing up, or I'm just going to be going from memory. That's really good, relying on my memory to have a chat about it. But I think with anything, once you've learnt something and been practicing it for a while, you don't really have to reread the instructions, do you? Or do you?
Well, you shouldn't, otherwise we'd never be able to open a carton of milk.
Yeah, they can be interesting too. Yeah,
some of them are a bit tight. I was
Yeah.
wondering if you could explain to the people sort of the benefits of hypnotherapy, the sorts of areas that you might be delving into when you're doing hypnotherapy, just so that people can have a background and maybe get rid of some of the background things that people seem to think about, like you're going to end up looking like a chook, and it never happens, but they do seem to still think about that.
Well, a responsible therapist won't do that. I dare say those who actually have seen the stage work style of hypnotherapy, it's not treatment, that's entertainment. It is possible to actually do that sort of a bulk trance state with an audience. But for myself, I just don't see it as being needed, or, why would you do it except that it is entertainment? The thing with hypnotherapy is that as you were doing that guided meditation, the lead into it is as gentle as that. It can be just like going into a relaxation meditation style and having that then cross just that point where you're almost going through a veil, you're going into your subconscious level, and then you're in a trance state rather than just being in a meditation. So that's sort of how easy it can be to place yourself or have someone that's a therapist guiding you into that state, so that from that point, then you're actually accessing the areas that can be treated. It to me seems to be a bit of a harsher word, but there's areas that we can help with changing mindsets and actually going back into some of the the issues that might crop up. That is sort of like along a timeline. There is a thing called timeline therapy that's sort of, I do hook that into it a little bit as well. So it's not just raw hypnosis, it's a combination of little tools that help create that access to the subconscious and get past blocks and issues, changing a mindset, changing a brainwave program that we've convinced ourselves of, all sorts of things, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I myself, I do hypnotherapy, and I know that I've had people who are having problems at work, and they come to see me about just the concentration aspect sometimes, and sometimes it's just to get the next level of professionalism that they want to move on to. But they still sometimes, they're not really certain, but they question, is this going to have an adverse effect? Is this going to be bland and all this? But I just say, look, it's going to go in. You won't really notice the difference. It's not much different from being awake. It's just
true.
a matter of having your eyes closed and you're being led in a particular direction.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. You have a hypnotherapist being the therapist to guide you through that process. Some of the areas that I've helped with has been pregnancy and conception and realigning the body to actually accept all the processes of doing IVF. So that's one area I've been able to help with. There's the usual recognised ones do seem to be quit smoking and weight loss. So there are big areas that can be helped. It's so many of them, though. I would have to say, though, like the treatment using hypnotherapy, it does work. But it is also, too, the responsibility of the client, the patient, if you want to call them a patient. It's also that responsibility to, as soon as when you're having that treatment, to actually honour it and not, because I've had people, as soon as they've left the room, so to speak, they'll actually go out and test it out by thinking, oh, I'll light a cigarette, and they do. So what's the good of that? They wasted their money just by doing it, walk out the door and test it. Why would you do that? because I mean, it has worked 100% for some where, they haven't even thought of doing that. But others, their intention actually was they were going to just test you and not put the full process through their subconscious level anyway. It's needing that preparedness to actually do some work on it yourself as well. Allow the process to complete. And, different
Sometimes
areas.
It comes down to their personal wish too, how much they actually want to give up or make the changes. If they don't want to make the changes, it's not going to happen. We've had Jennifer Rolson has asked, can anyone be hypnotized? Well, for me, I haven't found anybody yet that can't be hypnotized.
Well, I have.
Oh,
and
you're
it was
lucky.
only recently. Yeah. And it was absolutely that her intention was that she wanted to be hypnotized, and we did use 3 different days as the process to get through, the process of being hypnotized. And as you mentioned before, it can feel that it's like you're awake, that you don't even feel that you're in that trance state. And, for the first couple of sessions with her, I was sort of thinking, now I'm not sure whether she's just not realizing that she is or isn't. But by the third, we just knew that she was not in that state, that trance state, through to her subconscious level. It just did not happen. And yet she really dearly desired to have that happen because she wanted to quit smoking. It was just one of those that that the perfect time just wasn't then. So we've just left it, and at another time she'll be able to have another go at it and see whether something in her whole mindset's changed. We don't know why, it just didn't. And I'd never experienced it before. I've always had my clients actually go into that trance state. So it did shock me.
Do you think it might have been just that she was so pent up about being hypnotized, so much wanting it, that her energies were in the wrong place at the time?
Well, it could have been that, and the other factor is that I think in that instance it could have been that there was so much of a backup reinforcement for others that she was such a strong person. There's no way she was going to be hypnotized, and she'd actually convinced herself at that level, that subconscious level, that she wasn't going to, even though she had desired it. Look, it's something that there is no guarantees with anything, with any treatment that you're going to have of any form. So I've seen it work just so many times that it's really effective as part of what I call my medicine bag, because I do other things as well. And it's just something it creates a bit more ease around other things that you're going to do, because you first get into it with the hypnotherapy to ease anxiety around, and then you can do the next stage of healing, like the sound therapy, because sometimes there's people that just can't relax even to take the sound treatments. It's very interesting. I love the work.
We have another question from Jennifer Rolson, and she wants to know, she's heard that using hypnosis for connecting with past lives. Could you explain what this means and involves? Okay. Do you do past therapy?
I can. I haven't been asked to do all that much of it. It seems that most of the solutions I'm being asked to provide is around the quit smoking and weight loss, the pregnancies. That's the area. It does seem to be more of the physical aspects of how hypno can help you. I have done 1 or 2 though in my training time. I've been part of it myself as far as the past life regression goes. It's pretty much the same process, but it's also using that tool of the timeline therapy as well. So, with that combination, it's the same state that you're in basically, and you feel really super relaxed, and you're just accessing memories that are of the past lives or experiences of the past lives or seeing it. It's the same sort of process as if you're just asking a person to, to remember something they did when they were 5, and they had a birthday party and they can see the people there. It's a similar type of process of asking, what age were you? It's actually the client who is providing most of the answers. As a therapist, you're just guiding them to reveal what they already know. So that's how I'd actually answer that.
The only experience I have is a couple of people who came looking for a particular aspect of their life that they wanted to find out where it had begun. And they wanted to do past life regression. And I basically said in the beginning, look, first let's go back over this life and find out whether this is where it began before we start jumping into the previous lives. And sometimes what they're looking for isn't that far back. It's in early childhood, as you mentioned. And they suddenly find that this event, whatever it is, happened in their childhood this time around. They can take a look at it as a positive aspect rather than a negative one. And they come out of it and they don't need the past life regression. And I've yet to find many that are Egyptian priests or priestesses.
It's a common era. I can remember experiencing my own several of what I had as the Roman warrior and the Druids back in, and I can't remember what date that was that I discovered. Honestly, it's handy to have glimpses of the past lives as that factor of explaining part of the why some issues affecting a current lifetime, because so much of what we bring forward to the now is for that purpose of completing that cycle, that healing, and really why. And it is very common. I've seen it as the childhood issues are the areas where a lot of what people are coping with, it is triggered back to those childhood memories, those phrases that people have told them, some action that's been happening to them in that childhood, and that, the emotions and what they're carrying from that into the now. And it is just even in that process of guiding back through those time steps and saying, well, stand aside from it as the experience and being the witness to it, and it just seems to bring it forward to be, it's no longer an issue. So I know I'm explaining it as if it's absolutely easy peasy simple. It can be. So, I think that's why for me the hypnotherapy is actually really interesting in how many various ways people experience their lives in their childhood that bring it forward to the now, and just exploring it, the stories that can be told, and how easy it actually can be to heal the present and into the future, of course, because once you've dealt with it, it's not affecting the forward, your future life either. So
there's no demons under the bed. A lot of those demons under the bed,
the monsters.
Those actions in your grown-up life. They're looking around the corner, expecting something that's not there, and sometimes the nightlight's just the thing you need in your childhood. Yeah.
And because we're actually living our lives as we do, we're not always going to be super aware and super mindful of what our past is actually creating for us in the now, because it's one of those things that we cannot, in any sense of fact, deal with everything at once. So those little problems that we feel are really bugging us, it's for each step to actually be dealt with as we can handle it, as we need to be shown it. So doing the hypnotherapy, that's where it comes up with that next one that's actually more the priority for what's accessed from their own space, their own inner being space, so that I find that's a lot better guidance from the person themselves in that state of trance, in the their subconscious. So it's a great way to actually treat in that respect of a person is actually there with intention to heal themselves. And that creates a great ease with doing that, I find. Once you can get them into that deep, that trance state, for some it takes a little bit longer than others to get into that state. But except for that one person, I have been able to do it for every one of my clients.
Well, you've already gained one person on your side. Jennifer Rowland says she loves you, and you're a beautiful lady, which is true.
Oh, thank you.
Even that's the start of hypnotherapy.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm blushing.
It's been great to have you on, Roz, and thank you for explaining that to everybody. I'll put your Facebook page up again so that people can just take notice of that or watch it in replay, so that if they want to contact you, they can certainly give you some, give you a call or put something on Messenger. Yeah,
there is a booking thing. I've got a Shopify website now too that's activated. That can, I think that's actually a booking site more effectively, but I don't go in there and book myself, so I'm not actually sure how it works.
We really do we?
No, find out later. I was trying to book on your website, and I sort of think, what was the problem? Because I've had issues with websites. I'm currently getting both of them sorted. So I've got a rosboundy.com.au that I started again today. So I'm working on that one. That's just
people can just get on to Roz Boundy and leave a message on Messenger. If they have any other problems, they can certainly get back to you.
Well, thanks for asking me to be on, Roy. So I quite appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, you may come on later on as well. I know you do a multitude of things, so I may need your assistance later in some other programs. So thank you very much for joining me, and I hope that if anybody's got any questions out there, that you will just check in and see if anybody left anything afterwards.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Roz.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Well, there you go, people. Hopefully that brought some information to you on hypnotherapy. Well, it seems that Lily Hayes is in some way connected to Jennifer Ralston, but thank you for joining in, Lily. It's lovely. Now, before I get to you, Lily, I've got another question a bit lower down that I need to answer. Now, Margaret Scown has written in, can you please help me know if I'm on the right track in life, especially as I try to support immediate family members in a difficult situation? Thank you. Well, it's difficult to say whether you're on the right path in life, Margaret. That's generally an aspect that you yourself would know. It's great that you have the commitment to work and support with the immediate family. Often it takes one person to do that, and it's not always the greatest job. Sometimes there's a lot of family conflict and a lot of arguments and a lot of misnomers that go on. But if you're happy to do that, even in a difficult situation, then I commend you immensely. Just find yourself a little bit of time for you, and then look at your life and say, what really draws my attention? Is it this support aspect of my life that I'm doing, or is there something else in my life that is really important to me at this moment that I would like to follow? And that's probably the best way to find out whether you're on the right track in life or not. Supporting people is great, but it's often very emotional. It can be very stressful, and it can take a lot out of you. Which brings me to a segue later on in the show, which I want to do, which is talk about sacred space. I'll get through this question with Lily. I think it's Margaret. Yeah, Margaret, hopefully that has answered some of your question. If it hasn't, please be a little bit more specific, and I will try and give you a little bit more information. Oh, thank you, Lily. You've just inboxed her. This is great. Energy healing can always help in replacing some of the energy and taking some of the stress out. I'm not sure how that would go with finding her particular path. You do different chakra healings, as do I myself. And I'm meant to. Last week we had Vesna on, and I was hoping Vesna might be on tonight so that I can find out whether she got through her operation well and whether the energy that was sent to her was sufficient to get her through. Guided meditation is always good. Sometimes it's not easy to do private and guided meditation unless you've got YouTube or something and take something off of YouTube. That's often a good one. You can do 10 to 15 minute meditations from that, which are guided and very good. There's a lot of people out there that are doing meditation, sound healings, and a lot of other aspects of healing that can help a lot of people, and especially people who are going through stress. I myself do Reiki healings, I do Swedish massage, I do chakra balancing and aura balancing, and all of these can assist with stress management and relieving energies of the body. So if you are going through any of those, look around your local neighborhood, check out a few of the Carpe Diems and the Crystal Waves and the spiritual shops, and sometimes they have a listing of people in the area. If not, just type in your area and then type in something that you think will assist you, whether it's reflexology, whether it's crystal baths, whether it's sound healings, any of these. You just put in your suburb, then put in what it is you think will assist you and see if there's anybody in your area that can bring that to you. Now, thank you, Eliza, for coming on board. I know you're saying hi to everybody, and it's lovely to see you on the show and supporting me tonight, as this is my first one on my own. We hope to make this a regular event to bring you somebody each week. Oh, if I can find a comfortable place in this chair, it would be even better. Now, that's another thing. If you're around there, oh, Nicole, what sort of healing are you looking for, and what is the problem, Nicole? Otherwise, we will be guessing at what's coming up. Later on, we will be doing a sounding for the chakra area of the heart to help in the vibration, raising the vibration of the heart area. There's a lot of people who are going through emotional stress at the moment with the changes in the energy that's happening to a lot of people. Look, Margaret, if you want to just send me a message, go on to Moon and Mask. I will attempt to put that up there for you. Just give me a second. Go to moonandmask.com.au or Moon and Mask on Facebook, and just leave me a message if you think that I can help you in some way. We will do our utmost. If I can't, I will try and find somebody that might be of more assistance to you. I know sometimes on these shows it is very hard to make those kind of comments, as some of them are personal comments, some of them are just long-term stretches. Oh, thanks, Ros. Lovely that you've invested in a very nice chair as I sit at my computer for a long time, stretches at a time. I know what that feels like. I've been sitting in this one for so long now that the cushion is starting to take on the shape of a certain part of my body. Thank you very much, Lily. I assume choosing another life is either she has moved out and moved in a different direction, or she has passed over. one or the other. At the end of the show, as I said, we'll have a crystal bowl which will hopefully raise the energy around the heart. Heartbreak is always a difficult one, Nicole, so I'd like to be able to offer a lot of things for people who are going through that sort of energy. Now, I would like at this point to just do a little bit about sacred space. Now, I don't know how many of you have sacred spaces. If you do, just, put up there, yes, I have a space of my own. This can be very small. It can be a matter of a candle and or some incense and a small something, a photograph, an idol, whatever you want, excuse me, to put in one space. And the object of a sacred space is so that you can tell family, friends, or even workmates, if you've got it at work, that when I'm in this area and I am doing this particular thing, please don't disturb me. This is my time. This is when I find my own energy. I come to terms with myself. I find relaxation, I find energy, I find calmness, I can balance the body. Now, for myself, I have 2 or 3 sacred spaces. One is an amethyst tree with a little Buddha underneath it. I also have a space which has a small bowl full of sand, which I have incense in front of a very large Buddha area. And there's another one which has a lot of gifts and crystals that were given to me. Now, all of these things can be put together, or they can be in separate little areas that you can find for yourself. But the object of a sacred space is simply, yes, it is, Ros, it's very important to have a sacred space, especially if you have a household or you're in somewhere that is very busy, very overpowering with energy. You need that somewhere to step aside and say, this is my space, this is my time, do not disturb me, allow me to find the energy that I need and the balance that I need. So if any of you are interested in wanting to know more about sacred space, or have something that is different in the way of a sacred space, we'd love to hear about it, because there are so many people out there that think that a sacred space requires a whole room and you've got to have a chair and there's got to be tables, and you can do that if you want. If you can set aside a room in a house and do it, then go for it. Never let me stop you from doing it. But honestly, just a small space and that you know that you're not going to be disturbed is the way to go for the best of sacred spaces. Now, having done all that, I am just going to go back over the comments to make sure I haven't missed anybody. Right, we were there, weren't we? Please, Nicole, hang on till the end, probably about another 5 or 10 minutes, and we will have the sounding of the bowl, and I'll try and run you through just that area so that you can lift the energy. Oh, Margaret Scowen has, my sacred space is made up of angels and crystals. I take it these are the small angel statuettes and a massive crystals such as rose quartz and clear quartz, amethyst, and the like. Most people have the basic ones. If you're looking for crystals for a sacred space, the most used ones are probably lapis lazuli, rose quartz, clear quartz, obsidian, and amethyst. You can use anything on top of that. You can get a whole set of crystals for chakras. It's a massive thing, and you can have different bracelets for every day of the week. And if you want to work on a particular area of the body, then you can wear a particular bracelet which might have jade or aventurine. It might be shungite for removing negativity, and shungite is also good for empowering other stones. So if you're wearing amethyst or lapis and you wear shungite, it will enhance the crystal on that that one that you're wearing, as well as helping to remove the negativity. I think I've just about bounded the poor old sacred space as far as I can take it, because there's not really a lot to be done, but it's somewhere that you should be able to either meditate or relax or do some deep breathing or just attentiveness to yourself in mindfulness. To carry on from where where we are, I want to try and just plug my own game, so to speak. Now, at Moon and Mask on the Facebook site, so there we go, Roy from Moon and Mask at Blair Athol. I do Reiki healings, and if anybody hasn't had Reiki healings, it's an energy form of energy healing that can help with aspects such as increasing your energy before a mental or medical aspect that you're going through, and it can also help to raise the energy after a medical procedure, or if you're taking on other aspects. If you're going through a very stressful time, Reiki can help to relax those areas around the shoulders and the abdomen areas to release some of that stress. Reiki has also been known to cause emotional release. If you happen to be going through grief or loss and you're holding in, even anger, if you're holding all of these things in, and the Reiki is given to you at the right time, this can be, it doesn't force you to release, but it causes a release in the energy and brings it to the surface. Now, if that ever happens and you're doing Reiki and these emotions come up, try not to suppress them. It's important that you allow those emotions, when they flow to the top, to just ease out, release the energy. You will be surprised at how much difference it will make. And if you're a male, then I suggest you definitely allow those emotions to release, because we have a bad tendency of storing them up, and eventually the body will let you know. And that's another reason we have healing within. It's about getting accustomed to your body and finding out when you're stressed and whether you are holding these emotions in. It's about your ability to recognize them. It's about your ability to see them early, so that you can find somebody who does reflexology. I use that as an example, but it could be hypnotherapy, it could be light therapy, it could be sound therapy. And any of these things, if you know what your body is feeling like on a day-to-day basis, and you take the time to relax and find out what it feels like not to be stressed. Thank you very much for that, Lily. Reiki changed my life so much that it lit a fire to help others, and as a healer myself. Yes, it's amazing how many people have gone to the stage of learning Reiki, Reiki 1. I do a few courses myself when I have the available time. Anybody that's interested in that is more than welcome to contact me. But once they start using the Reiki energy, it's amazing where you can use it, whether it's on plants, it can be on the animals that you have around the house. But if you're going to do the animals, you really need to look at the chakra system on the animals, because that is different from the human aspect of chakras. So be cautious of that. You can use it on food, you can use it on your friends, you use it on yourself. You can sort of switch it on just as you're preparing to go to sleep, so that the energy will fill the body, and then as you sleep, that Reiki energy will continue to saturate the body. And yes, I actually do, Lily. If I have sufficient people to do a master's level, I can do that. I normally look for around the 6 to 8 people. So that's one of the things that if you're interested, leave your name with me and I will put you on the list. And when I've got enough people, I will certainly start doing a master class. The only other thing I would need at doing a master class is the certificates from the other Reiki, just to show that you've gone through the basics right up and you've been practicing regularly. Now for Nicole, I think it was. Yes, right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to just do a sound healing for the heart energy. So yes, again, Lily, thank you very much. Charging positive energy towards your medications as you're taking it does make the medicine have a greater effect. Sometimes this is obvious, sometimes it's not quite as obvious. But if you can add Reiki to medications when you're taking them, generally if it was like coughs and colds, this would take less time. If you're taking something on a regular basis, then the side effects are less and the gain is greater. So that's another thing that you can use Reiki on. Right, now, excuse me. I'm going to do a quick sound healing. It'll probably only be around the 5 minutes or so. But if you would please get yourself comfortable, make sure that you're relaxed, because you will need to concentrate on the heart area of the body. And the idea is that this sound will vibrate and hopefully it will come through cleanly. And I really do want it to come through cleanly. Feel that energy going into the heart area. It should affect the heart area, the stomach area, and the throat. But mostly it will be aimed at the heart. So please get yourself comfortable. Take in a deep breath. You can stay wide awake and eyes open, or you can close your eyes. That's entirely up to you. If you close your eyes, you may see the color blue. So all of this sound as it comes in, and put it towards the heart area. Make sure it's saturated. Breathe deeply into the heart. Release any energy you're feeling at the moment. If you feel it is not wanted in that area, feel the energy cleansing and cleaning. It's a blue light. The sound that is coming through is specifically vibrating with the heart. So each time you feel the need, take in a deep breath and let it out slowly, because you want the heart to absorb it. You don't want to breathe too quickly, cause the heartbeat to increase, which is better. Breathe. Breathe. energy in the throat and the stomach. Breathe. Let go of any grief, any sorrow, any tiredness, any anger. Breathe. Any jealousy, any comments that you may have made today which you think might be considered untoward towards the people you were talking to. Breathe. Take one last deep breath, release, and feel yourself come back into the room. Okie doke. If anybody has any ideas of people or particular therapies, or it can be just about anything that you think you would like to hear more about, please put it in the comments. We're always looking for ideas to promote. We have a few people coming up in the next few weeks. Now, Irene Heartwarming, as I said, will be doing healing by astrology. A little bit different, but it'll be interesting, and I hope that you'll tune in next week to hear what that's about, because I really don't have a lot of information on this, and I would like to learn more, and I'm hoping that you would like to learn more as well. Later on, we have Michelle Carley coming in. I think that's in about 2 weeks, and she will be talking about sexual assault, sexual abuse, and recovery aspects. She's writing a book at the moment, and she'll be talking about how she has written an ebook and a number of other things on how to manage the recovery, and how people who are it really does. Roz, I'm looking forward to hearing what this is, healing by astrology. Michelle is going to be talking about how even in the workplace, if somebody comes up and has the courage to talk to somebody about what's going on in their life, whether it's sexual comments, sexual abuse, sexual harassment, how they can respond, and respond carefully without just saying get over it, or yeah, great, go somewhere else and tell somebody differently. So that'll be something to look forward to. We're also at the moment looking into a woman who does reflexology to come on and explain what that's about. But before we go, I will just give you some of the rundown on some of the things that I do. We are doing healing with Roy Fensom, and I will be doing this each week for at least a little while, unless Eliza decides that I'm doing a lousy job and she wants it back again. If you watch live or in the replay, please let us know where you're from. it's always handy to know whether we're hitting locals or whether we are getting to people interstate. It's always good. If you would like to contact me and learn more or leave suggestions, please go to moonandmask.com.au or my email, which is simply roy@moonandmask.com.au. Major healings may need in-depth sound healings or other types of healings. If you see somebody on here that you've enjoyed or like listening to, please take the time to make more questions and talk to them or talk to me. I'm quite happy. You're more than welcome to make bookings at roy@moonandmask.com.au or find out more about what I'm doing. I also have spiritual and wellness fairs. Now, I run a couple of these a year, and if you're into the fairs and like to meet these types of people, then you can always check that out at Facebook SWF 2015. And there is generally upcoming markets that I keep track of. You're always free to ask questions. If you're interested in the courses, please drop us a line. Sometimes the people who come on will make a comment about that they do courses, and we will try and put you in contact with those people so that you can get a better aspect of when those courses are coming up. If you are interested in massage, you're more than welcome to make an appointment, and I will do my best to make sure that you leave better than when you came. As my business says, your relaxation is my business. To that end, I would say thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you will share and put this out there, like it as well, maybe even put in a referral as to whether we're doing a good job or not. And tune in next week or leave a hint as to what you would like to see, and we will do our utmost to bring that to you. Thank you very much. Have a good night and a good weekend, and I hope to see you next week on Healing Within.